in the end, appraisers need to understand that we are being asked to be professionals.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Today's episode of the Appraiser Coach Podcast is sponsored by A La Mode. A La Mode can be found at 800 A La Mode, or of course their website, www.alamode.com. And of course, our good friends over at OREP Insurance, OREP, is my E&O, should be yours as well. OREP.org, that's OREP.org. Okay, let me set the stage, folks. I am not in the back pocket of AMCs. I get frustrated with appraisers who think that I am, and I get frustrated with AMCs just like you do. I've heard it for years and years and years, from the very beginning, right? Because from the very beginning, the appraiser coach, Dustin Harris, was teaching that you can make good money working for AMCs. And somehow that put me in bed with the AMCs in some people's mind, okay? Now, I will say this. I have, because I've been in the industry almost 30 years, and because I've been coaching almost 15 of those years, I have developed relationships and networked with other individuals, yes, even people that now currently work for AMCs, and I talk to them on a regular basis. It helps me as a coach to be able to understand what these clients need so that we as appraisers can, if we choose to work for them, can do the job that they're looking for us to do. So as the background, okay, if you think I'm a shill for the whatever, but as that is the background, I will tell you that I had two conversations, one yesterday, one late last night or late afternoon, and one just now, just hung up the phone just before I hit the record button here, okay? So this is all fresh in my mind. What's interesting is both of these individuals work for AMCs. One of them I'm friends with, and one of them I'm not. One, I didn't even know who this individual, I'll tell you his name. He said his name was June. June, I guess. I don't know. Don't know who this individual is, but he called me and we had an interesting talk about a specific assignment, but more in general led to a conversation about what is it, June, that you are looking for, okay? And I love having these conversations. I think so often appraisers just get frustrated, right? They see what they think they see, and then they jump all over social media and they start to complain and what have you. Folks, talk. I've always been taught from the very beginning. My daddy taught me, if you got a problem with your brother, go to your brother, right? Don't go to your dad. Don't go to your mom. Don't go to his friends. Go to the individual that you have an issue with. So I would encourage appraisers to do the same thing. If you're having a problem, having an issue with the client that you're working with, we'll talk to them. And I'm not going to give you all the details of this conversation, but the gist of it is this. June called me about a specific assignment, and I think he was looking for a quote unquote low fee. I didn't give him that low fee. My fee is probably higher than most of the individuals that he is putting feelers out for. And I knew that. And so I just asked the question. I said, hey, June, what are you looking for on this assignment? And he told me, and it was significantly less than what I could do it for. And I said, well, let me talk to you a little bit about this, because this is what you're going to end up with if you call around. Can I save you a little bit of time? Well, of course, he said yes. And I said, let me explain a little bit about what's going on. First of all, this is a very rural market, very rural. You're going to find very few appraisers who even cover this market. Okay, I've been covering it for 29 years. Number two, this is a unique assignment in the sense it's a new construction. We don't even know the square footage on this thing. The information that we have is very, very little. It's on 5 acres. It has a huge shop, okay, on and on. Now, as I talked to him and started to explain to him dollars per hour and started to explain to him why my bid was as high as it was, I think he started to understand a little bit. But he also shared with me in return some of the constraints that he has. And that was an interesting conversation, which will lead into the bigger conversation that I want to have on this microphone today. Fast forward to just a minute ago, as I just got off the phone, and this individual works for a large AMC. This individual I've been friends with for many, many years. From the time I started coaching, I think the very first conference that I ever went to, I met this individual, and we've stayed friends over the years. And every once in a while, he'll just pick up the phone and he'll call me and say, Dustin, I got a question. And I love talking to him. I took my phone and I went for a walk around the block and and out to the falls, which are just a stone's throw from where I am. And I had, I mean, close to a 45-minute conversation with this individual. And it was very enlightening. And I felt like, and by the way, this is not at his behest. I was doing podcasting today anyway, and had some other things I wanted to talk about. But today I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's talk about this, because this, I think, impacts us as appraisers. Okay. Now, I'm not going to tell you which conversations came from which individual. Okay. I want in no way to reveal who it was that I spoke to, who that individual represents, and just know that these were two different people, two different conversations, two different companies, right? But they were similar in the sense that appraisers are getting frustrated because, and I said this at one point, I can't remember if it was to June or to this other individual, okay? But I said to one of them, I said, can I be blunt for just a second? And he said, yes. And I said, here's the frustration that appraisers feel, right? They feel somewhat cornered to work for AMCs, right? Because doing the hard work of getting private work is fill in the blank, hard work, right? It's difficult, it's challenging. A lot of people don't want to put in that work. They want to keep working for AMCs. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, the fees that AMCs are giving to appraisers are, be honest, lower than we're used to. Okay, we don't like that as appraisers. We don't like that. And number three, we are asked to do more. And I said, let me clarify. I'm not saying in any way that we should have never been supporting our adjustments and now we're being asked to. That's silly. Okay. It's silly to think that. But that is the reality that most appraisers won't be willing to admit and say out loud, but I am. Okay. I'm willing to say it out loud. I'm willing to say out loud that appraisers feel like they're being paid less for more. That's really what it ends up being. And to this individual's credit, okay, the individual that I was talking to on the phone, he agreed with me. And he said, I understand that. I do. So let's talk through some of the solutions. Okay. I want to share with you some of the ideas that were thrown around in both of those conversations when we get back to the break, because I think it will be important for you moving forward. What is also important for you moving forward, of course, is the software that you are using in your day-to-day as a residential appraiser for real estate. And I, folks, have for years, and I've used other software out there. I have not just played with it, but actually used it. And in the end, I choose to pay a little bit more. I invest a little bit more and get a whole lot more out of the software that I choose, which is, of course, a la mode. A la mode's total is the way to go when it comes to efficiencies and tools and effectiveness and everything that you need to be the type of appraiser that you need to be. Check them out by going to alamode.com or pick up the phone, my friends, and call them at 800 Alamode. OREP Insurance is my E&O of choice. It should be yours as well. Why? Well, because you do have a choice, folks. Did you know that? You can choose what insurance company you go with. And I know some of you are saying, well, they're all the same, Dustin. I shopped around. They were pretty much within, pennies of each other. But folks, here's what you're missing. First of all, I doubt they are, because OREP is a broker. So it can typically find the best price for you. Number two, the benefits that come with OREP are huge. They're huge. Who does that sound like? Check them out by going to orep.org. That's OREP.org. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. We're talking about AMCs, okay, and specifically just to lay it on the table, a lot of appraisers getting frustrated. Folks, we should always have been supporting our adjustments, always, right? It's one of the reasons I push Synapse on this program, okay, because it's so amazing at doing those things, right? But the bottom line is many appraisers for years have not been, and now they're being asked to, and they're being asked to by AMC clients that appraisers are frustrated with because they feel like they don't pay them enough. And that really is the bottom line. And so these individuals and I spoke through and talked through some of the solutions to this. One in the context of an actual bid, okay. The other one just in general called up to talk and converse. And one of the things he said was, Dustin, I value your opinion. Okay, so these are just opinions and things that we talked about as we moved along. And I said, in the end, appraisers need to understand that we are being asked to be professionals. I see so often that appraisers complain. They say, we're professionals and people don't treat us like professionals. Folks, let's be clear, okay? Sometimes we don't act like it, okay? That's number one. We need to act like the professionals that we are, and we have a job to do, right? This is not how many appraisals can you kick out the fastest, right? Now, there's a balance between quality and quantity when it comes to appraisal work, right? You can't spend a week and a half on every single appraisal assignment and expect to make a living at this, okay? There has to be some type of a balance there. And I talk about this a lot with my mastermind students, right? This balance and how to be efficient and not lose your soul when it comes to being a good appraiser. You can do very, very well as an AMC appraiser, right? But there is a balance there of making sure that your adjustments are supported, that you tell the story, that you've got a strong and supportable work file, right? And making a living at it, okay? Number two, we talked about this thing, bids, right? One of the things this individual said was, he said, we're trying to change the language so that we don't use the word bid, that we get a quote instead. And I said, it's the same damn thing. Actually, I didn't use the word damn. I probably used a little stronger word. It's the same thing. Okay. And of course it is. And we had a really good talk. And by the way, this individual was not pushing that that's the direction they wanted to go. It was just reality. And he said, Dustin, in the end, we try very, very hard to not go to that process. We go to that process when we're in a corner, when we're pushed in a corner. And I said to this individual, and something I've said on this microphone, and I've been hated for it, but I'll say it again, right? Folks, as a professional, okay, professionals in all professions get bids. I'm sorry, I don't care if you call them quotes, if you call them bids, if you call them estimates, I don't care what you call them. Professionals across the board will tell you what it is that they will work for. Okay, this is a frustration of mine. I've done plenty of episodes on it. Go back and look. Okay, I'm not going to go off on a huge tangent. I might go into the weeds just a little bit here. But folks, why are we complaining that we want to be professionals and yet we're unwilling to tell people how much we're willing to work for? Now, I know what you're saying. Well, Dustin, that's not what they're looking for. They're just looking for the cheapest and fastest. I don't know about that, honestly. I really don't know about that. There are probably situations where that is the case, but I will tell you this, the friend that I spoke to today is not of that mindset, not at all. That friend, and is very, very open with me, by the way. Things that I would not share on a microphone, he shares with me, okay? He is very honest and very open with me. We are friends. We are not just talking shop. We are talking friend to friend, okay? And I will tell you, I am 100% confident that that is not his attitude when it comes to work and when it comes to professionalism, okay? And so please, folks, when you think through this process, right? We are not being asked to do anything more than we should have been doing all along. Now, have we been able to get away with it for a while? Probably, right? Am I guilty of turning in appraisals that don't have support for every single adjustment? 100%, right? I'm as human as anybody else, right? But when I'm called upon and asked, where did you get that adjustment? I better damn well have an answer for that, right? If we're going to be the professionals that we profess to be, we need to make sure that we have answers to those hard questions of, I say hard questions, they're pretty easy, right? Where did you get that adjustment from? Where did that come from? Right? And can we give an answer that's beyond, well, my 20 years experience, or will it just fit properly, or fill in the blank, right? There's many approaches to support for adjustments. Are we at least knowing what the adjustment should be in our market and being able to support them when we are asked to and called upon to do so? Folks, I could go on and on and on. Okay. But in the end, I've said this before, and I don't want this to come off the way that it's probably going to come off. Okay. I'm self-aware enough to know that I risk that when I say what I'm about to say. But I really want you to stop and just turn off the emotion for just a second and ask yourself, okay, is it me that's getting upset at what Dustin's saying, or does Dustin actually have a point? Okay. And by the way, I would love your feedback. If you think I'm out in the wind, okay, let me know that. But in the end, folks, you have a choice. Okay. Now, I don't say that flippantly, like, well, okay, I just won't work for AMCs anymore and I'll still make $1 million a year. Folks, when I say you have a choice, I'm saying that you do have a choice in the direction that you want to take your business. I just got done with a 2-day mastermind. Okay. And it was powerful and it was incredible. And there were 14 people in the room. And at least 3 of them, and if I thought, no, 4 of them, if I thought maybe even more than that, have transformed their business from a strictly AMC business to a large, if not all percentage of private work, working with attorneys, working with realtors, working with homeowners, okay, working with fiduciaries, working with, you name it, fill in the blank. Okay. These individuals have transformed their business in the last couple of years as they've been members of the Dream Team Mastermind. That's one of the things that we do. If that's your goal, we can help you to get there. Okay. Really. So my point in saying that you have a choice is not to say that you can just flip a switch and tomorrow choose not to work for AMCs. But if that is a desire of yours, if you want to do work for other individuals, okay, I think you can do that. Now, it would be foolish of me to say that that's going to change much. Okay. It might change your fees, it might change your turn times, might change the revision request. But in the end, folks, we have to support our adjustments, right? That's what's goofy about these two conversations, right? This individual that wants me to do a new construction in a rural area with a shop and 5 acres, okay, needs to understand that I'm not just going to slap that thing together. And thus I need to ask for the fee that pays me enough for my time by the hour that I feel comfortable doing that assignment. And does that cut me out of the loop? And will he probably find somebody else? Well, I mean, in this area, maybe not. I know like one other person that goes out there, but nonetheless, right? I don't think my fee is ridiculous. I'll tell you what my fee was. It was $800. Okay. That's not ridiculous. My normal fee in that area is $650. Okay. I'm asking for a little bit more because it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Will I get it? I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. If he called me back and he said, will you do it for $750? We got another individual to do it for $750. My answer is, I'm sorry, but no. $800 is my minimum right now. That's all I want to be doing. Okay. I've got other things going on. If you give it to someone else at $750, then praise be. I hope they have a great time with it. Okay. Folks, think through who it is that you want to be, who it is that you want to work with. Okay. You do have a choice. And if, by the way, you want to move more of your business to private work, would love to be the coach and the mentor for you to do that. Reach out to me. Find me on my website, thecoach@theappraisercoach.com.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.